Oh, it was so sad. Like that's why I wanted to have the song play. Anyway, you guys didn't even know what song it was. It was "Lose Yourself" by Eminem. That song makes me feel like a badass. And I felt like I needed to feel like a badass today because this is my first time public speaking. So I wanted to come out. Thank you. That is really sweet, you guys. I wanted to come out and just be like, yes, Eminem, give it to me. So anyway, I'm sure this clock is going to start. So I'm standing in the aisles at Trader Joe's, staring at the pasta sauce. And I'm wondering, how the hell did I get here? So what you don't know is for the past 9 months, I've been working at Trader Joe's. My husband is sick. We don't know what's wrong with him. And he's becoming increasingly sicker. You know, like he's not able to get out of bed, go to work, interact with human beings. And there seems to be seriously a physical component, but also an emotional component, but we don't know what's going on. And we're doing all the things that you do, going to every doctor you can find. And he's always been the primary breadwinner for our family, so it's a time that is very bleak. My mom is sick, and what you guys don't know, because 99.9% of you do not know me, is that my mother is the greatest force of my life. So my mom is sick, my husband's health is deteriorating, and I've had dreadlocks for the past 12 years, and they're down to here, and my hair is falling out. And just big old chunks. And as it turns out, when your hair falls out, it's a little disconcerting. And I didn't know what was going on, so I'm going to the endocrinologist, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. So I'm telling you guys this because you do not know that I am, in my life, I'm a naturally high energy person. I'm a naturally, like, if you're born like glass half full, glass half empty, I'm over here all the time. Like most of the time, it's not even half full. It's like brimming over. That's where I live. So for me to be in a bleak place where I'm feeling like I do not have any hope, this is a very difficult place for me. So what I started thinking was like, God dang, why is it so hard to have hope when stuff feels hard? Why is it hard? So I just started analyzing it in my own brain. And one of the things I came up with is that it's hard to have hope when stuff feels or looks hard because you feel weak and you feel incapable of evoking change. And many of us, certainly myself, there's this false perception that our ability to control a situation is what brings about change. But we don't control anything. So the only thing that brings about change is action. Action is the only thing that brings about change. And the other thing that I realized when I excavated a little bit deeper inside my being was that there's this quiet fear in us all that feels like it was never going to be this good for that long. The bottom was always going to fall out. And so when you have that, and that thing, it kind of is eroding internally a deep, profound thing of hope. But you don't even know it. It's hard to hold on to hope when you don't think you're deserving of her in a fundamental way. So I was like, okay, I get that. That's why it's hard. And then I started saying, I was like, okay, Shay, but is hope yours? Is hope ours? Well, I mean, hope simply means, if you look at various places in dictionaries, it simply means to want something to be true and real and to believe that it can be true or real. So hope seems to be something uniquely created for human beings. If not humans, if she is not for you, who is she for? She seems to be for us and every living being because everything that exists is predicated upon hope. Everything. I know you're going to think, yes, it's an idea. If that idea was not imbued with hope, you would have nothing. The idea married to hope is what brings about change. It's you thinking that it can happen, that idea can happen. So every seat that you sit in, every car that you drove here on, every plane that you rode on, everything that you touch, everything that's been created for you or by you, it's been created on the back of hope. Yeah, she's there. So then if she's ours, don't let her go so easily, you know? So then let me jump back in my story. So I'm standing here at Trader Joe's, and what I also forgot to tell you is I'm about to turn 40. Not that 40 in the abstract is old, or it's a terrible age. I love getting older because, you know, the opposite of getting older is dying young, and I don't want to do that. So I have no problem with getting older. I'm just saying, and I have no problem working at a grocery store. But my dreams at that time in my life felt trumped by life. You understand what I'm saying? So it was very hard for me in that moment. What you also don't know about me is that I'm from Freeport, Bahamas. I went to some of the best boarding schools in the United States of America. That's why I sound like an American. I went to great universities. I went to a great law school. I just thought I was going to be so much further in my life at this time. You understand? So that is why I'm just like, okay, I got to figure out how to get hope back. So I started thinking, okay, how do I keep holding on to hope's hand when life is feeling hard? How do I keep doing that? So I realized one of the things I just have to do is you have to know and remember that she is there. She's there. She's not going anywhere. 2, she is yours. Hope is your birthright. Do you understand that? She is your birthright because she is the vehicle by which everything you do or touch will become real. If your dreams that you're holding right now don't have hope, we will never have them. We need your dreams and we need your visions. So we need you to have hope because that's the only way they will come to fruition on this side of the veil. So I was like, okay, great. I'm getting there. Then I started thinking, okay, so she is ours. Then I was like, okay, let me put on my legal brain real quick. Precedent. Precedent is the ability to go like, has it been done before? Is it real over here? So the precedent of life proves that hope is here. She is here to stay. Do you get that? That is the precedent. The chair that you sit in, the car that you drive, the job that you have, it is all on the backbone of hope. That is the precedent. So then when I feel her eroding in my being, I have to remember she is there. She is my birthright, and precedent proves that she is here. So I'm not letting her go. So then I was like, I'm getting this, God. So then I was like, okay, I am believing this. So Shay, I thought, why then, when you don't feel hope, why is it so hard to hold on to her? Why is it so hard to believe in her? Because that place of emotions and feelings, that place where hope lives and germinates and grows, that place is 100% directed by emotion. It's not an intellectual spot. So if you are impaled in your emotions, you guys, it's natural that you would feel impaled in your hope. So then I thought, okay, well then how do I shift my emotions? The only way I know how to shift my emotions is you got to shift what you think about. So then I started going, okay, this is great. So I would love to prove something to you guys. Let's do this exercise. You guys all have dreams and visions, right? I do. Get it. Get it right now. Just call it up in your mind, your dream or vision. You don't have to share it with anybody next to you. Just get your dream and vision in front of you. You got it? Got it? Okay, so here's my dream and vision. This is very bold and very naked for me to say this in front of a group of people that I do not know. But my dream and vision is to have an international platform where I am impacting lives powerfully around this flipping globe. Okay? That's my dream. And I've felt that my entire life. Now, let's have a negative thought. It doesn't even have to be anything like overly energetic or overly animated. Just like a negative thought that really left you not feeling too great, maybe made you feel discredited, dismissed, unloved, overlooked. Got that thought in your head? Okay, so here's my negative thought. When I was 7 years old, my mother's an American, my father's a Bahamian, and my parents, we'll talk about that later, I'm sure, in all these different breakouts when we get to know each other, but my parents didn't have the greatest marriage. So when stuff started really falling apart, my mom leaned on her family, and they were all in Michigan. So when I was 7 years old, we went to stay with my aunts and uncles in Holland, Michigan. You're from Holland? Grand Rapids, I love it. I spent many summers. I worked at Centennial Country Club, and I was a beverage cart girl. And one of my highlights. And when we would go, so we're here. This is my first time going to school in America. Remember, I'm from the Bahamas. So this year, I go to school, and it's the first time I'm called the N-word. What? But I don't know what it means. That's what I remember. I'm 7 years old. I have no clue. I've never heard the word before. And I remember being like, what? But I could only tell that it was negative because how their faces kind of gnarled when they threw it at me. You understand? So I'm feeling everything that, who has children in here? That you never want your 7-year-old to feel. That's what I'm feeling. And it took me a minute to figure out why I was being called it. But I was a smart little girl. So I sat there and I remember deducing it and going, oh, I'm the only brown person in here. Maybe that's what it is? Okay. So we'll get into that later. But the point is, that's not a great thought. Remember that dream that I asked you guys to hold? How capable do you feel about getting hold of that dream right now after we just had our little negative thought? You should feel deflated, right? It's not that strong. Now, let's get it back. Let's get that vision and dream back. Hold it up. You got it? I am slaying the world with impact and hope. That's what I'm doing in my dream. Okay, now here's a little positive thought. Again, the positive thought does not have to be anything overly wrought with drama. It could just be a nice little moment. So here's a nice little moment of my life. When I was a recruiter for Oral Roberts University, working for Leanne Work-Langley over there, I was sent to Bradenton, Florida, to there was this little southeast Christian conference. And so we're at this school and this huge auditorium. There's probably like 100 other schools I'm competing with. And, you know, I got my table all set up. I'm stacking the globes, and I'm feeling like, what? You better come talk to me. And I'm loving it. And I'm just doing, you know, the moment I have a kid in front of me, I'm just talking to them as best as I can, trying to captivate their hearts. Really, that's what I'm trying to do. And then it's time, 2 hours later, it's time to go. So you pack up your bag, and boop, boop. You remember those little rolly-doos? So I'm rolling out to my little rental car, which at that time, Leanne had to sign for me to say that I could actually rent a car. So I get out to the car, and I'm packing it up, and I hear these voices, hey, Shay, and I turn around, it's like this group of, I'd say 5 or 6 teenage boys, and one steps forward out of the group. He has like Justin Bieber hair, but it's brown, and he's probably like 13 to 15, and he goes, Shay, I just want you to know, we're going to miss you. I probably had about 30 minutes of my life with this guy, with this whole group of young boys. But that moment made me feel like my life and what I do matters. So remember that dream and vision? How good do you feel about laying hold of that right now? Do you see what I'm saying? So there is a nexus that exists between our emotions and our thoughts. And that place creates a wonderful environment for hope to grow and blossom. So I hope that I've slung some hope your way today. Thank you so much for your time.